Hello everybody, this is Metalphase, and here we have Gardinha versus Loli, and we have Loli playing as the 3rd Canadians on Maverick Income, and Gardinha playing as the Skijager, 1st Skijager division on Vanguard Income. So both players are interested in ending it quickly with their decks, but it seems like I feel like 30 points advantage is not really enough for any kind of Vanguard versus Maverick income. So you have to, in this scenario, you have to play Vanguard almost like a balanced income. In fact, I really struggle a lot versus Maverick, and I think Vanguard is probably like the best counter, as you're not completely depleted or completely outclassed in the first 20 minutes of the game in terms of point gain. So I think, yeah, Vanguard Income is a very good choice for the lair player. So Gardinha playing on the southern side. This is, in fact, for a start, this is from the league league tournament, but I don't think this has been casted before. So we have some Skijagers, Skijager Pioneers, MG42, Sturm Skijagers, Ski Sturm Fusilier, and a couple of T-3485s. The T-85s will be going down this road, and the Skijager and all of the Skijagers are going to be unloading at the same spot to the south, with the MG42 maintaining the point and having the line of sight, or the line of sight onto the supporting ridge. Good for it's great for trying to get rid of any AT guns that are trying to take shots onto the city. But at 1,500 meter range, I don't think the MG42 would have any shot at any AT guns anyways. But in any case, we have some rifles, a rifle leader, and field engineers trying to provide a defense to the south. And we have the 17 pounder taking up a position on the ledge, as well as another a defense group. And to the middle, the main point of contention on this map. Basically the only worthwhile unit in the Canadians outside of the defense group are the rifle spam, with the rifle leader, immediate off-map, a Sherman DD, and Hummer Mark IIIs, which are the 20mm or 15mm cannon autocannons. Gardinha not going to be putting up too much actually on to the middle, as he's only bringing in the Skijagers, which are, I believe, the just regular. They're essentially just like, I think, Grenadiers. And then another MG42. Very interesting placement of the MG42. Not really sure what it would go up against in this position, except for maybe trying to secure the southern side of the city. But in any case, lots of AT guns, and it seems like these AT guns will be defending this road here. It looks like probably the Pack 36 is going to the north, while the Pack 4 are going to the south. The scheme, let's see, some recon units, the Sturm Ski Fusilier, another Pack 40. Is that the same? I think, yeah, that's the same Pack 40, yeah. And the sharpshoots. Not a lot holding up the front line, except for the AT guns. So hopefully he can hold the front line, as the automatic assumption is that this point will be taken immediately by whoever's on the red side, which is the plan of action. We have some stormtroopers. I almost said stormtroopers, but they're stormtroopers, field engineers, and more field engineers. So actually, not more diversity from the infantry selection for the Canadians, as he has the full range. He has the field engineers and the stormtroopers to provide the CQC battle, and a Vickers HMG and a 6-pounder, as well as the rifle leader. and you can pretty much anticipate where they're going. So let's start the game. Speed things up. This part is not too interesting, as it's just a bunch of driving. No white trucks. I believe they're called white trucks. Let me just check. Yeah, these are the white trucks, and you get quite a number of these, and I feel like Loli could have used these for the rifle squads. I think I put them on my at least one of my rifle squads, but I think he's been using it on his field engineers and stormtroopers, so he probably doesn't have any more beyond that. With only this kind of small force here, I would try to put these on hold fire, because looking at all of these troops and the 15mm autocannon, this is looking like a setup for failure. And Gardinha is not microing these Skijagers to pop out of the house and disengage. To the south, Gardinha does, however, make an advance to the southern point, but Loli not really acknowledging this push just yet, as I feel like, okay, now he's pushing up two of the Humbers to the south. But against T-34-85s, that's a tough battle between those for the Humber Mark IIIs. I mean, especially because they only have 15mm cannons. I feel like Loli is putting all his chickens into the middle portion of the map. And very interesting, as the Vanguard income player is actually being played in Phase A, and nothing really holding up the entire northern portion of the flag. Hopefully this Pack 40 though does get some vehicle kills, as the Sherman and the Humber Mark IIIs are getting a little bit further ahead of the infantry. Does the Pack 40 have good optics? It has good optics, yes. So you should be able to take that, or take shots at the Humbers, as it's doing right now. Crew killed, and I think this Humber Mark III might make it out here. Oh, but stopping to engage, and this could be the death of this Humber, but a whiff on the APCR shell. And the recon squads that were here were taken out by the double vetted field engineers and stormtroopers. A very good CQC force. And more Skijagers are coming in. The APCR not getting the kills just yet, but the Skijagers will be unloading. Unfortunately, if they open fire, they're going to be immediately engaged. But I think they haven't seen any forces just yet to engage. But at this point, but the Pack 40 does not have line of sight onto the Sherman, or does it? Does it have line of sight? Certainly it isn't firing on the stag hounds. So no, it will not engage. Only in this small little area will it engage. And to the south, the push is going smoothly, I guess, for Gardinha. However, his T-34s have to move up and try to get rid of these Humbers. But he has the Ju-87 and micros it just before it wastes its load onto the Humber. So great micro from Gardinha. And in fact, going for the Sherman, and there is no AA here, not even the OP and the OPS Hell AA stag hounds. One cluster munitions is going to drop. Or did it? No, it misses its target. In fact, it probably lost sight of that target. Now the second Ju-87 is going to make its run. Gets the kill, even gets the suppression. However, Gardinha is very close to getting his troops fully pinned down. And the real counter to this is hold fire, essentially. Hold fire is a really strong ability to ensure that you don't reveal units when they don't have the numbers or the weapons advantage. And with the last rifle squad here going down, we have 2 flags going to Gardinha, who is still losing as he has not gained back this flag. I guess it was more important for him to try to make it back into the city, but now Loli is trying to put more pressure to the north to force a response from Gardinha, even pulling in some more Humber Mark 3s in the type of environment that they're very good at with the autocannon. Even some rifles that haven't been given orders just yet. But if Gardinha has the really cheap Ju-87s, as I think they have 75-point Ju-87s, if he has those are a great counter to the blob of Canadian infantry, and that would be the answer. The first off map comes down a little bit. Well, can it get the kill on the T-34-85s? I think he's trying to go for the close range kill with the Staghound, but 37mm is still only 37mm, and it only has a 75 penetration, 70mm penetration, and it's not going to get that kill. And Gardinha pulling himself back to the 12-12 now, despite losing the 2 flags to the north, as he has momentarily this flag to the north. The Skijager will miss the 17-pounder. That's going to be... I wonder if this is foreshadowing for something else in the future. In any case, the T-34-85 going up against the rifles, as they have no... there is no AT to the bottom, and a Ram OP coming in. Even the Sherman, as good as it is, can't really do much against the T-34-85, which has the 110mm frontal penetration. And Cluster Bomb going off against the Northern Humber and gets the kill. Great double teaming on the Humber, and all that's left is the infantry engagement, which I would give the edge to the Skijager, as they just simply have the much better weapon loadout than the Canadians. And it's just a slow battle back to the 12-12, or even more, as Gardinha has even picked up the flag to the north of his own position. In fact, getting 4 flags from the south alone, and has view of the reinforcing troops, although lost sight there, or rather it re-engaged for a small moment against the Ram OP, and unfortunately loses the opportunity to get to defeat those squads within the transport. Gardinha's in a good position, but this is still not the main test yet, as he still hasn't entered the Phase B, where it's really the hard stretch. And the Ju-87, where is it going? It probably was going against, trying to get the Ram OP, but lost sight. Gardinha does lose the flag here, which should indicate to him that there is something still in this forest trying to maintain the flag. But actually, Loli is taking himself out of this. If he continues to move up his 17-pounder, but he will start to engage the T-34, gets the shooter kill, but at that close range, the 107mm of penetration will defeat the T-34-85. And now suddenly this avenue of approach is open for the Canadians. To the center, not much going on, as again, rifles have no AT. There's no infantry-based AT that isn't in the form of a Piat. And the 3rd Canadians only have them, I believe, in the AT tab or the rifle leaders, which is a really tough, really tough to contend with, as you don't want to use leaders very aggressively. He gets the flag back, and now he has the advantage, although starting to lose momentum to the south. The Ram actually moving ahead of the Sherman, perhaps a little bit too ambitious there. He does pull back off. The Opel Blitz munition was looking like it was trying to repair the T-34-85. If it's not careful, well, I mean, this is not this is not. I mean, Gardinha doesn't have any control of this T-34, so it's up to the AI to figure out what's going to happen. But it gets taken out by the turret-stuck Sherman DD from a rear shot. And very good use of the off-map to stun everything in the area. And now a defense group and a Firefly coming in. And I guess a decent counter to the T-34-85. What is it? It has a slow firing rate, but what about the T-34-85? Are there any more to take an example of? T-34-85 has an even slower one, so whoever gets the first shot, if it doesn't kill the Firefly, if the T-34-85 doesn't kill the Firefly gets the second shot potential over the T-34-85. Some more defense groups actually coming in, and the Skijager, yeah, they are essentially the Grenadier squads, just with a different name, and opening themselves up to the rifle squads. But the difference in the HP could still force this engagement to be a loss for Gardinha. The defensive group tries to get in, but gets taken out in the transport. Did I see a sniper shot? Yes, the Ski Pioneer actually does get a sniper rifle. Would be a really good idea to put them there, but I don't think he has enough radius to affect the troops here, so he has to use them up close. And finally, the northern side of this forest goes down, and the Canadians are going to start making their way up into the city here. But in the meantime, Gardinha has really captured a lot of ground in the city, as Loli has really neglected to bring up any infantry to hold the ground, and only has a Staghound and an Wolverine to really put up a fight against whatever tanks are in here. And this Ram OP, without its ability to use its really decent, otherwise 57mm cannon, does go down. And unfortunately, I really wish those artillery off-map tanks could use their main weapons, but that's the way the game works. Humber Mark IIIs really making life really hard for Gardinha to take back this otherwise easy flag to take back. He could divert one of his 36mm guns, and with the 2 stars, he could make short work of these Humbers, but so far only being used defensively. And now a 140mm howitzer being called in, and how will he be using this? Going up against the 120mm mortar. And the Wolverine starting to being used like a Sherman, using the well, actually it has its AP shells turned off, and hopefully Loli is on top of the micro, because here comes a T-34-85. What is its order? It's not going to have any line of sight, and all it takes is the Stug to move up, and he will try to start engage, but it might not even have to with the Ju-87 here. No AA here except for the Bofors, which isn't placed far enough in advance. But maybe with this slow Ju-87 might be enough to take it down. It certainly will go down to the Spitfire, but doesn't get the kill on the Wolverine. But nonetheless, Gardinha has started his approach to the last flag of the city, and in fact is going to surround the rifles and get the bailout on the Staghound, so this portion of the city will go down towards Gardinha. And all that's really holding up this game is this flag and the Humbers making a mockery of the Skijager division, the infantry. And potentially the south, but again, the elite infantry of the Skijager will make things hard for the rifles. until he brings up either Shermans or starts to vet up his infantry with a commander and leader combination. The Wolverine will go down here. Well, unfortunately, the T-34 does not get the accuracy just right. Maybe the Stug can help that. No, the Stug does not get it. In fact, the T-34 whips. It could actually make it out. Could it make it out? How is this T-34? Okay, there we go. I think the T-34 had its loader wounded or something, but that was the really slow reload from the T-3045 or T-3442. The naval battery comes in, and some rifles being pulled up. This is supposed to be Loli's time to shine with the 180 points of advantage, but things are not looking great for Loli, so he really needs to do something quick with his point advantage now. The Ram OP trying to be used offensively could get taken down by the T-3442, but actually surprisingly tough armor. And the naval, was that another naval? Yes, it was another naval battery. Will rain down its terror onto the southern portion of the flag, and the Skijager appear not too suppressed to get the kill on the Firefly, and get taken out by a humongous shell. And Gardinha, all he has to do is just maintain his current pace and wait it out for the C phase where he gets the 30 points advantage, which, all things considered, isn't actually that terrible of an. Is not that terrible for Loli. 30 points is good enough to get an edge, but not decisive enough to get the win. If it was against a balanced income, that would be a terrible position, but Maverick can still match up against the Vanguard, even at C phase, I believe. We have 3 Shermans trying to go against the T-3045, and the advanced Jaeger will get the kill, but the driver knockout doesn't even have line of sight. It doesn't have line of sight to the Shermans, but now it's starting to get its shots across. Loader wounded, and it gets to fall back, and Loli, all he has to do is to rush up. Might not even have to, as the third naval battery comes down. 2 of them, or actually not, only 1 of them actually, but kind of hitting his own forces. I think he's been using the emergency just to get the quick successive shots, and this could be anyone's game, but still 17-7 in favor of Gardinha. And really, this should be, really would like to see the Pak-37s be used offensively. But I guess Gardinha will be using the T-3441 Fuhrer. Although with 75 millimeters of front of armor, there is still a chance that the Mark IIIs get some criticals enough to stall it. And once again, the very annoying naval battery still making things hard for Gardinha despite his advantage to the city. And finally, in the last moments of Phase B, the rifle squads making a move to the north, and with this much, but there's a lot of veterancy, but the Spitfire will suppress quite a bit of the German troops. I think they're even being outranged here, and I think Gardinha really just needs to move back his infantry back deeper into the forest and pick the terrain where he can use the MP-44s to their to the desired range of 300 meters. But now Loli is back to a 13-11, takes back the point here, is spamming out a lot of engineers, and this could still be he has quite a lot of momentum and going straight for a rush to the southern point. The Stug does not get any hits onto the Sherman. Will this 20mm cannon do anything? No. And this rush could be terrible for Gardinha. Still hasn't microed his units to the north, and I think this is a really it was a prime opportunity for Gardinha to still maintain a hold onto the point here. But I think the lack of, I guess he did not pay attention to this engagement has lost him that point. Finally, the T-34 will get the kill on the Humbers. There's still a couple of stormtroopers, but they have no more TNT. And I think at this point, Gardinha will finally get to that point back. But now the battle has shifted to the middle and south, as the Canadians are going to start advancing as fast as they can, as it's now C phase, and Loli will start working with a disadvantage in the economy. Gardinha will be reinforcing with the Skijager, great for the very great for the close range engagement, which he will be anticipating. And with the Canadian rifles, they don't have, all of this Commonwealth have a very distinct lack of flamethrowers and TNT, so the only thing that can really outperform the CQ, in terms of CQC, is just an advantage in veterancy, which we haven't seen from Loli. In fact, there aren't any leader squads at all for Loli. Although Gardinha does have to be careful. Oh, okay, very good. Those are very expensive units to lose there, but he might still lose one of them, and I think that's like 40 points lost. The problem with going up against the Canadians defensively is that you have to anticipate at some point another off-map coming in. And as soon as that off-map comes in, you are screwed. The field engineers, despite having only 5 men, are making their way and pushing up into the city, where Gardinha has not reinforced with too much infantry yet. Some troops coming into the north just to reinforce the defense into the northern portion. And finally we see some more Spitfire bombers coming in. We'll take out this Skijager, or perhaps the Sherman 3 will finish that job. But it looks like Gardinha is running out of tanks. One of the deep weaknesses of the Skijager division is that they don't have a tremendous amount of tanks to work with. They have some really good tanks, but they don't have a lot of them. And actually, we have not seen any KV-2s here from Gardinha. If he had one in the city portion while he had the advantage, that would have been very good against the rifle and field engineer spam. But until that comes in, it will be a couple of Skijagers to fill up the front line and try to get back the 1311. But 2 Fireflies against 1 T-34-42. This is a dead T-34. And not even a bounce notification on the Firefly. The PAC-40 could get line of sight onto the Firefly, but the Firefly is just on the edge of its line of sight. There goes the last of the Canadians to the north, and now it's a perfectly even matchup, despite the 1311 right now, but pretty even so far, well, right now. But I think the Canadians now have, despite the different, the lesser economy, does have the advantage in the Shermans, and that could be enough to win out the game, as it's been only Stug 3s and T-34 42s and 85s. Down goes the munitions. That was a very great hit, but more Wolverines, more Shermans coming up. Just wondering if Gardinha can weather this out. It's hard to, I don't know, it's really hard to play Skijager as anything but a Maverick income deck, because the lack of tanks really does hurt them, and it's not like they have any light vehicles to fill in that gap. So from a divisional standpoint, despite having the edge in the economy, I still don't see how Gardinha can really contend with the spammability of the Shermans. Nonetheless, the Sturmski-Jägers with the, what do you call these, anti-tank grenades get the kill on the Sherman, or rather the surrender. And Loli's just going to stand there, stay put, and try to get back this flag to try to get back to an even position with or against Gardinha. But not a lot of ground-based AT actually for Gardinha. Kind of surprising, because he is definitely losing out the tank engagement, or at least now he should be, and the hard counter is a ground-based AT, especially in urban areas. Ground-based AT guns are very great in urban combat, as you don't have the ability to open yourself up for a one shot or like a side shot. And against things like Sherman Fireflies, which don't have very great HE abilities, it's not a bad bet. But we've only seen the Pack 40. Slowly but surely, actually, the AA has gone down for Gardinha, as well as the 3 autocannons that were on to the south have gone down. Some Stug 3s providing fire onto the ridge. I actually never noticed, but that's a great place to fire along the road. Nonetheless, the Canadian rifle spam is real. 4 more rifle squads are going to come in, and if the quality isn't there, sure, the quantity will eventually be able to whittle down even the amazing MP44 squads. Gardinha just has to use them well, and he doesn't seem to be using these at any capacity, not even for the point advantage here. But now he sends his Sturmjägers, and this should make very quick work of the rifles. I really would like to see some veterancy here for the Sturmjägers. But yeah, these Canadian troops are no match for the Skijaegers. We have a very sneaky Skijager. I think that was left over here. He does have Panzerfausts, and he can be positioned to just get some sneaky shots onto any reinforcements. One Firefly goes down. Second one does not get spotted by the Stug 3 yet, or somehow it does. So the line of sight tool has lied to me, but could get the kill, and does get the kill on the Stug 3. And we still see no anti-tank into middle, really relying on the Stug 3s. A misclick, sending the Skijaegers through the country roads. And the last of the Canadian advance to the south is done. But still more Shermans coming in, still more rifles. If Loli has built his deck to allow himself to spam out Shermans into C phase, he should be able to win out this game. Or at least he has the chance, because the infantry is not on his side, at least not without veterancy. But with the Spitfires, he is making some good advances into the city. Does get the 12-12 yet again. The sharpshoots did move up, but I don't think Gardinha has any intention to move into the north. But it could be an interesting choice, as it hasn't really been contested at all. This Skijager, oh boy, these Skijagers, okay, they do get dismounted, and will continue draining points. Here comes more rifle squads, but the 140mm cannon is going to start shelling this forest. And good timing, actually, as the rifle squads could rush up, and with enough suppression on these, could still win out this game, engagement. Actually, no air from Gardinha as well. Did we see any air from Gardinha? I want to say, yeah, we did. Of course he did. Yeah, the cluster bombs, but we haven't really seen them since. If they were shot down, I don't think we've seen that. And if he doesn't have anything other than that, that's pretty bad, as he could really use that against the rifle spam. And moving up his Skijagers in open ground will tip this back to a 12-12. This is going to be a really slow drain for both players if it's just the 13-11 this entire time. But yeah, I really think Gardinha could really close this out if he had some more AT guns. Yeah. Stugs, they're great. I really like Stugs, but the fact that Shermans have such a fast aiming time, you really need something else to engage these that can't be one-shotted, potentially. And another Stug goes down, potentially, I think, to the Sherman 3 or Sherman 2. I don't think was it the Firefly? The Firefly did not have line of sight. So yeah, a demonstration directly the capabilities of the Sherman against the Stug, and Gardinha is going to be replacing that with yet another Stug. If you're trying to use these in urban combat, at the very least, you need to have the numbers advantage, because otherwise you're not going to get the successive shot against the Sherman, who will have two shots at least before your first shot, or after your first shot. Some more rifles trying to take out the Sturmjägers. Some good micro at least from Gardinha, who does move some of his Sturmjägers back out, as these ones will get surrendered, but with 16 HE worth of Sturmjägers, he still has the ability to take out these rifles yet again, unless we have a very lucky strike from the artillery. Good use of the Spitfires, and very unfortunate that Gardinha doesn't really have any AA to take out these Spitfires, except now. Finally, one of them goes down, and just as long as he keeps picking them off, he slowly drains Loli's ability to tactically take out these elite troops. I feel like this Stug could be used. Like, this is the perfect engagement distance outside of the the 500, 1,000 meter range, because the Sherman will have a drop off in the penetration at that point, and the Stug will have that advantage. But unfortunately, not really using it. I think he's probably afraid of a 6-pounder or something to the south. And we can really see that both players are really struggling for economy, but Loli really sending out everything to the middle, as nothing is there to destroy the rifles coming in. The Skiagers are holding fire, or rather they have the entire ammo deactivated and all in one spot, trying to wait until the war ends and they can go home. We'll see one Stug and a T-34 going up against the Firefly and a Sherman. This could be a very interesting match up. And yeah, the Firefly gets the first shot as the Stug didn't have line of sight. And despite the good placement of the Pack 40, nothing to go up against these Shermans. I really think Gardinha could have won this game with some more AT. Where is the AT coming in? I think we could see an entire rout of the German forces in the city then, in that case. As these squads will go down. This squad is about to go down. There it goes. And I think we can see 1 point go down for Loli. In fact, 2 points. These Skijagers being well, I don't know. Is he going to divert his command? I really hope he diverts his command from that deployment. And more Stugs going down. These Skiagers are going down within their transports. Does he? I don't know. Does Gardinha even have any AT weapons at this point? I'll go back and see what he has in his deck. But yeah, this could be a real teaching point, or teaching moment for how to deal with how to do urban combat. As the Shermans really have won the game for Loli if it's too late for a comeback from Gardinha, but Gardinha surrenders there. And looking at the stats, Loli does come back to a positive KD after a very contentious Phase B and Phase A. And yeah, we can just see the rifles did nothing here in this game without the veterancy. So the real deal breaker was the Sherman spam. And as for the losses, the Skiagers did a pretty good job and throughout this game. The original T-34 42, I think, to the south probably, or to this is to the north. I think this is to the south with the Ram 2, picking up quite a lot of kills. And I think there's not much point in perusing the rest of the kill list, so we'll take a look at Gardinha's deck. So we can see from his deck that he did have some Panzerschreck teams that he did not use throughout this game. But yeah, I think I guess the weak point of the Skijager is that they don't have a lot of ground-based anti-tank. He has filled it up with the Panzerjäger's RSOs, which are pretty terrible units, but with 8 of them, you can do something. The Marder 1s could have been positioned on the ledge potentially. Use that far distance to prevent the Shermans from going further into the city, and in addition to the Pack 40 that he had there. But I think throughout that game, he only had one Pack 40, and that was the one to the north. So I think he had at least 2 of them available, unless I didn't catch any others being used. And as for the tanks, he was only relying on the Stug 3s and the T-34 42s to really battle against the Shermans. As for everything else, we didn't see at all the TV2, which I think it was another potential loss, because 110 millimeters of penetration is really hard to go up against as a Sherman. Against the Firefly, yeah, that's going to be the KV2 will be outmatched in that at that point, but with 2 of these in a town against a bunch of massed infantry, this is a great unit to have, and we didn't see that. And I think Gardinha did have, when he was at a 17-7 point advantage, he probably should have saved up some points for something there. And for the air, we had a bunch of Dorniers and a lot of ME-109s that we did not really see throughout the game. Only the cluster bombers, and I think that was about it. So I mean, it is a really hard division to build for anything outside of a Maverick. This is a perfect division. You have everything you really need to get the win within 20 minutes, but within 30 minutes, you have to start looking at the weaknesses that in the tank tab and the anti-tank tab. Because at the end, you know, if you want a Maverick instead, he even at the point disadvantage, it was only at the 18-minute mark where he started losing ground. And if he had the Maverick, so that was at the point disadvantage. If he had a point advantage, he would definitely still been in the game. But I think that's about it, and thank you very much for watching this game.